with these picks here, do you see any craziness? Like, okay, so we know a lot of GMs coming out lately. I've been watching all these little things. Jaden Daniels is the best QB on the board. Well, that's not going to change, in my opinion. The Bears, I think they're taking Caleb, right? That's going to be a non.
Yes.
We're seeing that thing. Washington and New England are two critical ones because Arizona is most likely not taking a QB, Matt. They're going to probably go wide out, Marvin Harrison,
Neighbors,
or Joe Alt, or somebody.
Yeah,
they're not taking. What they could do. Where does Washington and New England go with 2 and 3, and what cues do you predict are going 2 and 3? Do you see Jaden at Washington? Do you see Drake May in New England, or do you see JJ McCarthy moving up? Do you see Washington, New England first? Talk about those QBs.
So look, if I'm going Caleb Williams first, Daniel second. Even though he doesn't want to go to Washington, and why would you want to go there? But still, they got a new ownership group, so we'll see what happens. And then I'm going to go Drake May third. And then, look, if I'm the Cardinals, this is your opportunity to get rid of Kyler Murray and his contract.
How do you do it?
How you do it?
You find a suitor. The Giants don't want Kyler Murray. The Titans don't want Kyler Murray.
Hell yeah, they do.
Like if the Bears have the 1st and the 9th pick, is Kyler Murray a better prospect than Caleb Williams?
Yeah, they won't do that.
They're not doing that.
I'm just saying. I'm spitballing here. Like if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, we haven't done dick with Kyler Murray. Coach, how do you feel about him?
Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Fucker, you know how I feel about him.
I know exactly how you feel. So I'm just saying, like, do you want to keep building around this cat, or is this?
I get rid of him in a New York heartbeat, no question. But
if you're Marvin Harrison Jr. going there, just because he's got a big contract doesn't mean it's a solid ground situation. So much of where quarterbacks go is determined, or how successful they are is determined by where they go. Same thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, are you going to go somewhere where he actually throws you the ball? Or is this just going to be Scramble City and fucking?
I mean, there is a shit ton of wideouts in this draft that could be game changers, in my opinion. It reminds me of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that crew. There's a lot of
Arizona, and they're going to keep Kyler Murray, which they're probably going to.
Yeah,
I would draft the best offensive lineman possible and put him on the other side of the kid they drafted last year, Paris Johnson. And then you've got 2 tackles. You can build inside, and then Kyler Murray doesn't have to run for his fucking life every single play, more than usual. And then that puts the Chargers in a very,
peculiar
situation, right? Because then Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting at 5, and an offensive lineman went at 4 instead of Harrison Jr. And then all of a sudden, you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. with fucking
Justin Herbert,
and that could be, it could be fucking awesome, but at the same time, they drafted a 1st-round receiver last year, and they drafted a 1st-round receiver 2 years ago, and they're always drafting 1st-round receivers, and they never blew the play out. But they did get rid of Keynan Allen, so they got to refill those coffers somehow.
If Herbert keeps 5 and they come down to the Arizona taking a wideout, comes to the Chargers, which I've said on your show, I think the Chargers have the 1st pick overall if you keep Herbert.
It's crazy. It's crazy how that run that out one more time for everybody that didn't hear it the other day, because that's actually the truth.
Yeah, you got, in my opinion, some decent quarterbacks, but I don't know if they're lifelong franchise guys. So you got Caleb Williams going to 1. Okay, so the reason I say this is because Herbert is already a franchise quarterback with a guy like Harbaugh, who has been known. He took fucking Kaepernick to a Super Bowl. I think he knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. Harbaugh is going to take a guy like Herbert. So he doesn't need a quarterback at 1. He doesn't need a quarterback at 2. He doesn't need a quarterback at 3. Basically comes to Arizona having a pick I would take Herbert over fucking middle midget all day. So when it comes to number 5, Herbert and Harbaugh sitting there like, okay, well, really we have number 1. Do I go get Joe Alt? Do I go get the Uso from Oregon State? Or do I go get Brock Bowers? Because Brock Bowers fits the Michigan way. If we've watched Harbaugh over the years, not only at Michigan, but at San Francisco as well, he did the same thing, methodical, run the football, run some zone read. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more zone read from Herbert, who can actually run, especially having Roman there. They're living in a goddamn motorhome in Huntington Beach, and they're drawing up shit in the sand out there, literally and figuratively. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go get a Brock Bowers or a tackle.
I'm jealous, and I'm really, I really am mad at myself for not living in a bus or an RV the whole time I was in the league. Why did I go get a fucking apartment or a house for what? That shit is so fucking cool. I wish I just would have pulled up, bought a Garner Minshew short bus, ripped the fucking seats out, put a bed in the back, and I got my phone and we're rolling. I don't need anything else. What the fuck, man?
So let me ask you: if you're the one pick, you got Herbert, you got what you lost 2 big time wideouts though for Herbert. You lost Allen and Mike Williams. Do you go get a tight end and a running back that you're going to get? You know, you've already made some moves, but you're going to run the football with a game clock managing, first down, move the sticks, tight end, and a generational talent in Brock Bowers with Herbert? Or do you get tackle and Alt or one of these other guys for Herbert? Or do you have to get wide out first, just like Joe Burrow had to do with Jamar Chase? Instead of going and get the tackle, they got Jamar Chase, which helped them go to the Super Bowl, obviously. So what do you do if you're Harbaugh at 5, which really is number 1 for him?
Trade back and do both. Instead of making the choice at 5, trade 5 for 2 picks in the first round and get a tackle and a fucking tight end. Because Bowers isn't going 5th. Like, he's going 10th to the Jets. So trade with the Titans or somebody before the Jets and pick him, and then get another first-round pick later in the first round and get a first-round offensive lineman, and you got a tight end and a tackle, and you're rolling. That's what I would do personally. I think obtaining more picks in the draft is more important than fucking selling out to get one guy.
Yeah,
unless that one guy is like the guy.
The quarterback or something.
Have an outside weapon problem though with losing your 2 great receivers.
Yeah, well, don't cut Keenan Allen, you cheap motherfuckers.
Well, they did. So now what do they do there?
But also, like you mentioned, though, Joey, this is a deep wide receiver draft, though. So I don't think it's out of the question that they couldn't get a pretty good receiver in round 2. Like, it's not like round 1 is over.
They can get a great player. They can get great players in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds.
Yeah.
Look, this. I always had a problem with this, but now that social media and the internet and everything are involved with the draft as prevalently as they are, and they have been for years, there's a little bit more light shined on the rest of the draft. But the draft is bigger than the first round, bro. There's so many fucking great players that go 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and undrafted. I mean, good God. So that's why you want scouts, but it's also why you're looking for the GM that's more concerned with the entire makeup of the team rather than just the entire makeup of the first rounders. There's a lot of fanboy general managers out there, guys. Let's be real.
Well,
there's a lot of guys.
Seems to be one right now.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of fanboy general managers out there who are only concerned about the top guy they bring in, and everybody else is bullshit. And that is the fastest way to get fucking fired. You have to treat the undrafted guy with the same kind of diligence you evaluate the first round guy. That's how you find diamonds in the rough and guys who can play from all over the place. I don't know how many great players I played with that were undrafted or 1AA or Division II guys just came out of fucking nowhere, and you're like, where'd this guy come from? We had Mike DeVito on my show a couple weeks ago on 0 to 60, and Mike is now the player personnel director for Maine where he played. But he was a big undrafted defensive lineman from Maine, and the Jets brought him in, and he played for like 12 fucking years, bro. So, I'm telling you, there's so many good players everywhere. You have to evaluate from top to bottom, left to right. You can't just be like, oh, we've got this really good player in the first round. The rest of the draft just kind of is what it is. Let's take the best player available. I always hate that. The best player available? All right, cool. If the best player available is a fucking offensive lineman every time, you're just going to take 12 offensive linemen. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Right.
How about the best player available for our fit? Like, we have to find the fit for each team that they're looking for that fits their culture, that fits the community, that fits the scheme. And you're not always going to do that, bro. So, Max Crosby, what was a 5th rounder? Something like that, right?
Something like that.
Third, 4th, or 5th, something like that. He went late.
I think he went undrafted.
They took Colin Farrell the 3rd pick that year, if you remember correctly. So they took Colin Farrell or Clinton Farrell, whatever his name was, from Clemson, the 3rd pick, and then they went and got Max in what, the 5th?
4th.
in the fourth.
Yeah.
So they go get Max in the fourth. Farrell's gone. He didn't make it to a second contract. He's on a 1-year deal with San Francisco. Max Crosby signed a $100 million contract. So sometimes the guys you draft late or you spite or you overlook turn out to be the guys that overcome.
Yeah, listen, Shaun King brings up a lot of stuff on this about the wideouts. He loves a lot of them deep. I just don't know after wideout 5 or number 6. You know, you got Udinese or whatever. You got Neighbors. You got the other LSU receiver who Shaun King thinks is the best of all of them. You got obviously Marvin Harrison. After 5 or 6, though, as good as those 5 are, like, there's a fall off. There's a drop off. I'm trying to see is the Chargers willing to take that late drop off because they need Herbert a guy. You can't just get Herbert just a regular guy.
Well, hold on. Herbert's job is to make a regular guy a star.
He hasn't yet.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that, bro. Herbert's throwing the
Keenan
ball.
Allen wasn't a regular guy.
Well, I agree, but Austin Eckler was. Austin Eckler was a regular guy, undrafted out of Western fucking State, Division II in Colorado.
Yeah, but he's not a wideout. I'm talking about wideouts.
He caught fucking 80 balls one year.
Yeah, backfield. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is Herbert's job is to take the third. What round did Tank Dell go in?
Who?
Tank Dell, your boy. What round did he go in?
Shit, I think he went third.
Third round. So you find a Tank Dell in the third round. You find a
third round. Yep, you got it right, JB.
Tank Dell in the third round, a guy like that in the third round. It's Justin Herbert's fucking job, just like it was CJ Stroud's fucking job, to make Tank Dell worth more than the third round pick that he was. Because right now, Tank Dell is way more valuable than the third round pick. You wouldn't give him up for anything because he's overvalued or not overvalued. He
overperformed.
He outworked his value because CJ Stroud got him the rock. The same with Nico Collins. Nico Collins wasn't no first round draft pick. I don't know where he went, but it ain't first round. So it's, I watched John Elway do this for a long time. He, the years that he was winning Super Bowls, he was taking undrafted Rod Smith and cast off Ed McCaffrey and 7th round Shannon Sharp and turning them into 6th round Terrell Davis and a bunch of no names up front. And his greatness oozes out to everybody and they're all great together. So I know it's a different era, but Mahomes does this shit. Mahomes just took a bunch of fucking guys and Travis Swift and went to the Super Bowl again. So it's the quarterback's job is to elevate everybody, man. It's not just to be like, oh, I got all these superstars. Let me get the ball to them. Let's take some average dudes that nobody thought could play and let's elevate them to fucking superstardom. And then we'll just keep doing that shit because our quarterback's great. Now that's me, but I could be wrong.